If you've ever flown on a Boeing aircraft and prayed the door plugs held up, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Like and comment, get involved in the chat, see why this is the best community out there. I will do nothing to control you. Get in there, get involved. We got 13 here briefly. Let's roll that intro.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks. Hello and welcome and happy Monday. We are back for another episode of Live Trading. I'm so excited to see everybody in the chat here this morning. So great to have you back. And I just got to say, when we was just talking about how great our chat community is, I want to personally thank each and every one of you that reached out to me over the course of the weekend when we weren't on air to wish me a happy birthday. I got to be honest, it really means a lot to see a whole bunch of people, some of which I've never met, be so kind and so gracious on my birthday. Really, really appreciate it. I had a great one. Let's go ahead and bring on 13. 13, happy Monday. How are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. I got myself a pretty busy week here, so I unfortunately won't be hanging out with you completely through the entire live trading, but I will be on and off. I will be trying to making a presence as much as possible this week, so I do apologize for the pockets of absence that you'll be experiencing with me just this week only, though.
No problem. As I've always said, in all careers, no matter what they are, family must come first. And if you are in a career where your family is not being prioritized, that might be some new calculus for you to do. So 13, the seat will be warm and the door will be unlocked for whenever you can make it back. I really appreciate you joining us here. We're going to run down some targets and go ahead and talk about also new surprise for you. I believe starting every Monday, I'm going to start bringing on a special guest. So really, really excited about that. I look to bring on Matt Malley from our Benzinga research side here. You folks might know Matt from making appearances on Bloomberg and CNBC. He also does some research subscription stock picks. We're going to bring him on, ask him about the market, what he sees and what's going on. We're going to do that every Monday. So I'm going to try and bring you yet another professional opinion on what this market is doing. I hope you folks enjoy that. So, all right, let's just get right down to brass tacks. First of all, as always, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. This is the best prop firm out there. Huge pool of stocks to trade. I never really feel limited. There's always enough for me to find. The guys are awesome. The CEO comes in here and gives us stock picks and setups for free. What more could you ask for? If you need to get over that 25K threshold, give it a shot. If you need more buying power, they're probably your guys too. So we love to Trade the Pool, guys. Thank you. And let's get rolling here. So first thing that we're going to talk about, as always, 13 is going to be the SPY. Now, for me, I definitely want to hear what you have to think about this. I know we've got the FOMC coming up this week on Wednesday. That's likely going to be the big event. By the way, happy NCAA tournament week for you folks out there. Even if you don't watch or enjoy college basketball, please understand that Thursday and Friday, when this tournament starts at like 11 o'clock in the morning, the volume is likely going to dry up market-wide. Now, the one caveat that I'm going to put in there is that depending on what we hear on Wednesday might determine the trading sessions for Thursday and Friday. We'll see. I'm obviously not expecting a rate cut, and frankly, I don't really expect a whole lot of new information that's going to cause investors and traders to reconsider how they're positioned in the market. So I'm willing to bet it's going to be an event on the day, but probably not a whole lot of carry through. And I suspect a lot of market participants are going to play hooky and watch some of that basketball tournament. So keep that in mind for any trades that you have on this week. Now, looking at the SPY price, we are pretty much jostling around here in a range. Bottom end of this range at 508, top end of this range, let's call it 518, right thereabouts. So about a 10-point range on the SPY. The one thing here that I've been talking about every time that we've taken a look at the SPY is when we've kind of rolled back and sold off, we've really kind of pushed up to new highs. Well, so far on this last rollover, we have not been able to do that. So obviously we're trading up here in the pre-market. A lot of stuff looks up pretty much across the board. I want to see, do we make a run at that 518 level? Do we make a run towards those highs? Does the market reverse and show any more weakness? Might we kind of turn around and go towards the bottom end of that range? I mean, technically right here at 513, we're about midway between the bottom end of the range and the top end of the range. So let's see what SPY tells us here today. 13, what kind of outlook do you have on the SPY?
If you recall from Friday, I was talking about 508.50 as being a level I was watching for some significant price action. We ended up trading down and just beneath that level to about 508.12, and then came back up. That was also the same area where the 20-day SMA is, and I was thinking that there could be something like this happening. We ended up with a neutral candle, and sure enough, now we're trading back up. Here's the thing: we need to get a close above 517. In order for me to remain bullish, at least. We haven't been able to do that yet. You pointed out the 518 level. We've been able to get up there and haven't closed. But if you look at every time we visited 517, we have not been able to close over that level. Past 4 trips up there. If we can get up there this week and close, it's probably going to be something that has to do with the FOMC meeting. Then that would mean that we could end up going higher. I'm not sure that that's going to happen, but we're going to have to see. 517 is the big level for me to close over.
Okay, so that's one of the things that we're going to be looking at here on the SPY. Again, anything that we do here early in the week, we might have a monkey wrench thrown in midweek. So let's keep that in mind for any of the shorter term trades that you might be doing. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the setups here today. I'm actually going to start with some of the bigger ones, 13, and then what we'll do is we'll roll over to some of the smaller movers. And in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and start with trade the pool here. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically doing the exact same setup that worked for us last week. If you recall, we really kind of shifted some of the focus away from the smaller stocks, and we went towards some of the bigger stocks, and we went towards Michael's strategy here of observing the trade. I think one of the things that I like the most about this is that this has very, very clear indications on if the trade is working or if the trade is not working. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for the exact same setups here today. The 3 stocks that I'm going to cover are going to be these. We're going to look at Google, NVIDIA, and Tesla. These stocks are pretty much always on deck anyway. We have some news here for that top one on Google that we're going to cover here in a sec. Tesla's always a big trader amongst this group, and NVIDIA, I mean, gosh, I don't even think I need to talk about NVIDIA. So you want to take a look at some of the levels here for Trade the Pool. Here they are. If you need me to come back and cover any of these, I'd be happy to do that. But I'm going to show you some of my own levels here right now. So we're going to start with Tesla. What I'm doing here is I'm looking at the pre-market range, and I'm marking off the top and the bottom of that pre-market range. Now you'll notice that my range here is a little bit tighter than the range that we had on Trade the Pool. So factor that into your calculus on if you're going to trade this or not. And the strategy for the trade here is we're going to wait for either a breakout or a breakdown, and we really want the price to retest that level. If it retests that level and gives us an opportunity, that is when we will enter. We will not enter on the breaks of these because we have observed that these stocks like to kind of snap back and retest that level. So we want to get an entry as tactical as possible. If I end up missing them, so be it. No big deal. Definitely don't want to ruin the positive work that we started to do last week. So Tesla is the first one on the list here. Bottom side is 168. Top side is 171. Now, the next one here, we're going to go to NVIDIA. I'm going to finish with Google because 13, we've got some news we ought to discuss, and I definitely want to get your opinion on both of the companies involved here.
Sure.
But for NVIDIA, we're doing pretty much the same thing. You can see NVIDIA popped into the top end of this range. We don't want the stock in this range. We want to trade the move out of this range, whichever move that ends up being. So if it goes down, we're going to short it. If it goes up, we're going to go long. And the same deal here. We're going to wait for a break and then a retest of either one of these levels. I have the top side level at NVIDIA here at 905.40. Let's just call that 905.5. And I have the bottom side of the range here at 900. Let's make that an area, 899 to 900. NVIDIA is a really high price stock and quite volatile. So that's what we're looking at here on NVIDIA. And then finally, we're going to finish it off with Google. Now, I noticed that there were a couple of people already talking about Google here in the chat. So that is going to be great. We will see We'll see what your folks, we will see what the plan is for you folks. Gosh, easy for me to say. It is a Monday. And we'll go ahead and trade that. Now with Google here, here's my range. I've got this at about 149. Let's call it 148.50. And I have the top end of the range here at 150. So kind of a tighter range here, only about $1.50 on Google. But Google has some news here this morning, 13. Google and Apple. Let me actually get you the newsprint here real quick. Google. Alphabet shares are trading higher following a report suggesting that Apple is in discussions to integrate Google Gemini into the iPhone. Okay, now this is I guess kind of strange. We did get news that Apple was scrapping its EV car project, really wanted to move into AI. I don't think anyone guessed that their move into AI would be using Google's AI in their phone. That doesn't seem like that was the right move here. Maybe that's a comment on Tim Cook and the lack of innovation. I know that's been a discussion amongst the chat here for some time as well. If we take a look at Apple, interestingly enough, both of these stocks are up here in the pre-market. So Apple up about 1.5% here in the pre-market, 175.13 and moving higher here. So 13, Apple and Google, Apple to use Google's AI in the iPhone. What do you think about this?
Well, I think today it doesn't look that way, but I think that's not good for Apple. For them to, with the amount of money that they make, to not be at least on par with the AI race is, I think, just bad in general. It's just bad for them. They don't have their own in-house brand yet. Now, we did get some news that I think they're trying to acquire a Canadian AI company. I can't recall the name of it, but I will see if I can try to get that for you later on. But then they're also now using one of their biggest competitors, AI. I just think that sets them back. And one of the things that I'm looking for, I'm still hoping I get that 165, 160 fill when on the downside. But seeing today, we broke through that 174. The level I'm looking for to get that reversal is the 20-day SMA, which I currently have at 176.41. So hopefully that'll take us down to beneath the 174 level that I had and continue to lower. Otherwise, I'm going to have to change my stance on on Apple and where I get my entry. But for now, I'm still holding the 160, 165 limit orders out there. I am just waiting. I want to see what happens with this, and it's going to be interesting because I think all the Mag 7 stocks are up today. Is that not the case?
Yeah, that is the case. Even Netflix is up a little bit here in the pre-market as well. So
I kind of want to, with everything up like it is right now, I kind of want to, and personally, I want to wait and see what's the open's going to give us, because we could end up just either running really quickly or selling off really fast. I just want to see what the price action is out of the open. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave here in a bit.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're going to keep the seat warm for you. So hurry back, but drive the speed limit.
Yes.
The other thing here is,
thank you, ETFs.
The other thing here is Apple. I went ahead and added the same thing here. I'm basically looking at the channel. Now we have 4 targets on some of these bigger stocks to actually take a look at here for trading purposes. So I agree, Mark, saying this is a huge negative for Apple. I mean, unless there's something I'm missing here, I would tend to agree with you and Mark. I do think that this is a net negative for Apple here. Okay. Let's go back over to the movers tool. Let's talk about some of the smaller stocks. The first thing that I want to do is I want to give you a little sneak preview here. First of all, Benzinga is releasing exclusive news on iPower. This is ticker IPWR. Full disclosure, as mentioned months ago, this is a longer term hold for me. I won't be making any changes to my position based on this news, but I really just wanted to highlight this because this is an example of how Benzinga Pro can really bring you some value. So we have an exclusive news here. I would expect to see a PR here in a little bit that hasn't been released to everybody. So let's see how iPower ends up trading today. I don't know if this is going to make it go up or go down. Exclusive news here. Ideal Power tells Benzinga announced an agreement with Richardson Electric for the global distribution of Ideal Power's product, including the B-Tran device and the SimCool power module. That's the entire thesis of the long side investment that I'm in here. Ideal Power strikes global distribution deal with Richardson Electric, boosting EV and renewable energy tech. So let's see what happens when the PR comes out. One thing to keep in mind here, thinking about it, saying, Lynn, I used to own iPower. It is so thinly traded, it's impossible unless it memes. And that is exactly right. And look at that. Just as we're talking here, here comes that PR. So Benzinga, shout out to our news desk here, giving you exclusive news 10 minutes before the PR is released to everybody else. Giddy up. Thank you, news desk. We'll see how this ends up trading here today. The one thing here, what thinking about is saying here is keep this in mind. This is very, very thinly traded. Float of just under 6 million. A lot of that is locked up, and on average, the stock trades about 30,000 shares. So be very, very careful with this. It's taken me a while to scale into this position. I've been conservative about it. I'm okay with my average, which is right around 10. And again, I have a longer term time horizon, but just wanted to flag that because that is some exclusive news here. Now, let's move to some of the other movers that are going to be much higher volume and perhaps easier to trade here. The first one on the list is going to be STI. This is one we talked about last week. This appeared on our scanner for relative volume several times. And guess what? We've got another up move here today. Ticker STI up 79% now, printing 312s. Looks like this was as high as 350 earlier. If we take a look at the news here, I beg your pardon, I don't see anything new here. Last piece of news was from Friday morning. We saw the stock move on Friday. This to me looks like relative volume continuation today. So what I would say about this is be careful with this. Make sure that if you're already in this, that you have a plan to book gains and not let the trade go against you. And then mind your technicals. Mind your technicals on this one, because if this is just trading with momentum, that momentum can change throughout the course of the day. How many times have we seen that before?
I recall seeing this one on the scanner from Friday, and we couldn't figure out why it was moving. And I think that was just a little bit of a late piece of news, because we didn't get that big news on why it's moving today until the market closed on Friday. So somebody knew something ahead of this. Now we're getting that, like you said, the relative volume on this, and it's still moving on the strategic private placement news. So this could. I'm not suggesting that this could be a multi-day runner, but it's got that setup to be a multi-day runner. If you look at what the price action from Friday into today, we could get another something similar tomorrow. So just keep this on your radar for the week. This one is looking like it's definitely going to move. I believe I even saw a potential gap fill in this, if I'm not mistaken, on the chart.
Yes, you did on the daily. That gap fills the bottom of the candle at 455. That's $1.50 above where we're currently at.
Yeah, so there's a gap to fill. So you have a lot of different trade opportunities here with this one, but I would just keep this on your radar. And it does look like it's curling too on a longer time frame, but I would just keep this on your radar for the week. This could be a multi-day mover.
Okay, good stuff here on STI. Again, that is going to probably be the top mover here from the small names. I got a couple more here I want to take a look at. I know we've got about 7 minutes till the market opens here. I will try and be as brief as possible. GOEV, this is Canoe. There's been I know we've traded this one a whole bunch, or at least the chat has traded this one. We are moving up here. Looks like we kind of took out that 250 and came back in. We've done a good job holding above the VWAP here, which is really good. If we take a look at Canoe here, we did have a PR here this morning. Canoe's Oklahoma City manufacturing facility approved as foreign trade zone. So I'll be honest, there's some more details in here. Should probably go through this. Haven't done it yet. I'll be honest, Canoe, I've had some bad experiences with this stock in the past. I'll most likely pass on this, especially given some of the setups we have on some of the bigger names today, those tech names that we're talking about. But this one here up 23% in the pre-market. Looks like this one's moving. Watch the volume for volume expansion on this one. Mind your technicals.
Yeah, foreign trade zone designation is going to help it be able to get a relief on taxes from selling overseas. So that's necessarily the reason why they got that designation. It's going to help. It's supposed to help them go positive eventually. This is going to be part of their plan to profitability. So it's just another step. I don't think it's going to be so material that it's going to start making this thing a screaming buy. But it's just another step in the process to being profit positive.
Okay, there we go on GOEV. Next here is going to be TSVT. This is 270 Bio. The catalyst this morning, 270 Bio shares trading higher after the FDA Advisory Committee voted in favor of Abecma for triple class exposed multiple myeloma in early lines of therapy. So it looks like you're getting multiple myeloma PR here. This did pop as high as 6. It has done nothing but bleed the rest of the pre-market. Okay, we are below the VWAP. We look like we're about to test 450. This might even David round trip, so be careful with this one. If you folks are watching for some bottom picking things here, make sure it confirms that bottom before trying to trade it. A little bit of weak action here in the PR. Now, then, did you have anything on this one, TSVT?
I haven't looked too much into it, but to your point, this would be one of those ones where I would wait and see what it does at the open. It might end up trading down, and if it does, I think you're going to have, if you want to trade this, you might have an opportunity to go long down there. So if I was trading this, I'd be a little bit more cautious about what we see at the open.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. This definitely says caution. Now, while we're talking here, it looks like ticker Wave D is trading up here. This actually traded above 5, as high as 525, and came back in. Jonathan Cooper mentioning Wave D up on merger news. So the chat scanner news scanner here, already working overtime. Jonathan, absolutely love it. Wave Dancer and Firefly Neurosciences, an AI-driven brain health company, each receive respective stockholder approvals for the merger. So it looks like we do have some merger news here. Wave Dancer up 34%. Looks like it's still climbing here. Keep an eye on Wave Dancer. This likely to have a volatile session here today. Like I said, we've already retraced 50% of that move, but it looks like the bottom's being put in. Mark, you're going to have to look through some of your alerts. There's just no way for me to know without looking at your program what's going on. Check your alerts menu, click in the upper right, go to alerts, make sure there's no sounds here. Check your watch list. You have them sent somewhere. If you can't figure it out, reach out to our staff. They can help you with that. The other thing here, we got a couple of tickers here. The T-Rex, the long trade ETF for Tesla. We already talked about Tesla. If you want to trade the ETFs on the Tesla action, no problem, but no reason to really cover this here. Tilray, looks like this is up here in the pre-market. Was there any news on this? Yeah, I didn't see any news on Tilray. I know this is kind of a popular one, but one that I'll be passing on. XPEV is another one here. This is XPeng shares trading higher on reports that the company plans to launch cheaper EV models. So there you go. XPEV trading up here. Maybe take off this 1040 area and move higher here on XPEV.
One last thing I'll throw out there before I have to take off for about 40 minutes or so. Super Microcomputer, SMCI, they joined the S&P 500 today. So that one is probably end up going to be a mover today as well. It's already up in the pre-market.
Yeah, and remember, they announced this a ways back. Today is the day that it's actually joining there and trading there. 11.05 is your price here. It is up in the pre-market after selling off in the after-hour session on Friday. Okay, we got about 2 minutes until we open here. 13, I know that you've got to roll.
Yep.
Again, I'm going to keep the seat warm for you, so we hope to see you back as soon as possible.
No problem. I'll be back. Bye, guys.
All right, sounds good. 13 leaves us temporarily, but he will be back. Smash up the like for my man. Lynn, you're mentioning a couple of stocks here. Gurn is going to be one of them. You can see Gurn popped on Thursday, and then held it on Friday. Looks like we had a little bit of a pop here this morning. We've kind of come back in here. This range, honestly, is what I'd be looking at. The bottom end of that range, top end of that range, about 365. So let's see what happens here with Gurn as this moves here today. And then one more thing I wanted to shout out. Jay Rice, I don't know if you're out there, Jay, probably still recouping after an amazing players tournament. Scotty Scheffler is a G, by the way. But we talked a little bit about CCJ, and we talked a little bit about this being a potential swing long trade. Looks like I've got an error here with some of the chart data. Let me actually go to, let me see if this is resolved here. And let me actually flip over to trade the pool. We can't do that with two people here. No way. Producer, where's the producer? I need help. Producer, I need help. Where are you at? I need a scene for, let's see if I can switch this. Nope. No. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. We got it. We got it figured out here. Let me go over to CCJ. We talked about this being a potential swing long here. This did a really good job coming into the 200 day. I know this chart is tough to see. I'm sorry about that. We've got several closes above the 200 day here on CCJ. So it looks like maybe it's held that 39 area on the pullback, maybe 39.5 there. I did take a little bit of this late last week. So kind of swinging this, would love to get 50s on this We'll see if that's in the cards here for today. Kevin, good to see you this morning. CCJ just bounced off its 200 DMA nicely. Exactly the trade plan that we're looking for. We're hoping that that holds. Okay, we are open here, folks. Again, I'm going to do my best when it's just me solo here. Sometimes I miss things. Really kind of going to be leaning on the chat here to help us out with new opportunities. That chat scanner, hopefully you guys are popping here. So let's see. CCJ here kind of holding in. Let's go back to some of those other stocks that we had setups on. We'll check NVIDIA. Looks like that's still in its range. Google. This was probably the big one. Okay, Google breaking the top end of this range. So here's what we want. All right, we want a back test to this. Let's let this impulse move simmer down and let's get a back test of this. If we don't get a clean test, we're okay passing. We don't need to feel forced into a trade. It's Monday. I don't need to start from behind the 8 ball early in the week, but if we get a nice clean setup, let's take it. Let's wait for Google here, see what it does. Apple looks like that broke the top end of the range. Let's see if we back test here on Apple and then get a move going forward. Tesla, Google, Apple, NVIDIA. We haven't looked at Tesla. That's the one I forgot. Sorry, Lynn and Randy. Tesla here, looking like we're still in that range. So, okay, let's wait for these to set up here. What else do you folks see moving around out there? STI. Oh, excuse me, Brett mentioning STI. This was, remember, this was gapping up here in the pre-market. Looks like that first move up was towards that pre-market high. STI stopped here at about 346 and has come back in. Looks like it's holding the VWAP here so far on STI. The horrible dope stocks are bouncing. Is that, do you mean like Tilray, like the cannabis stocks? Tilray, CGC, gotcha. Brutalized, but bouncing. You know, we've seen a lot. Some of the action that we've seen is that the stocks that are really, really beaten down, those are the ones that end up bouncing the most. So not necessarily willing to write that off, but I am definitely trying to stay away from some of the smaller names. Junie mentioning that Google broke above 150. So here we go. Remember, what we want next here is going to be a back test of this range. And ideally, I'd like it to back test in a different candle. I know we're working on a 3-minute chart here. Maybe it does back test on a 1 minute, but the longer the time frame, the more confident I feel in the setup. The 3-minute, if it can't really hold the 3-minute, that we might just be missing head fakes here. So Google, next step here on Google, a back test of that 150 level. And we'll see if that gives a trade setup. Zakia mentioning RVSN. And I think Lynn and Randy, you folks were looking at RVSN early here. RVSN is trading up here. Looks like we had a little bit of a move up in the pre-market. First move here was up, although it is coming back in here on RVSN. Looking around. Bitcoin, by the way, Bitcoin futures here holding at 68,500. So I actually didn't even pay attention to Bitcoin at all this weekend. Normally I take a look at that, but I was busy. Brett mentioning Wave D. That was another one and that was up on that merger news here. Let's see. Wave D doing a really good job holding its VWAP here. Let's see if it actually makes a move on volume away from this VWAP. Okay, it's a little bit beneath it. I have an intraday high here, 435, ticker Wave D. Wave D. Smoke Tuna, good to see you this morning. What country are you in? France, Spain, Portugal, wherever it is. I hope you're enjoying it. Calling AISP here. This is Airship Holdings. This moving higher here. You know, I think we had news. Let me see. Let me go back to my movers tool here. What was it? Wave D that? No, Wave Dancer. Was this it? Yeah. No, that's the Brain Health. What was the one that we had that was the Yeah, it was EH. It was ticker EH, right? Let me see if that was the case. Sorry if I'm missing stuff here. Okay, EH, ticker EH. This is actually moving up out of the open here. This was up in the pre-market and moving up out of the open. EHang shares are trading higher after the company reportedly began selling its flying taxi. So I wonder if that's related at all. I'm just speculating. I don't know for sure. Anyway, ticker EH trading up here. Okay, let me check in with the chat here. You folks are awesome, by the way, for helping me out here while I'm by myself, giving all types of tickers to look at. Thinking about it, mentioning Boeing here. Let's take a look at Boeing. Boeing, bad news continues to get worse here. Look, I'm sorry about making a joke about Boeing in the opening here, but seemed fitting. Boeing, first move here is down. Looks like it's trying to bounce off that 179 level. The interesting thing of note here is that if you look at the daily chart, this 175 level was the recent low from when was this? October. So it looks like October 25th of 2023. Boeing sure seems seems like it's coming to that. I got to think next step here on Boeing is going to be that 175 test. Ryan, did you just say flying taxi? Jane, yes, confirmed. I said flying taxi. I don't know how I feel about that either, Jane, but that was the news print here, ticker EH on the flying robo-taxi. Or I think it was just flying taxi. Got flying robo-taxi. The last thing I want is a robot flying me around. That sounds terrifying, frankly. Boeing here still trying to do its bounce here off 179. But again, I think longer term, I like Boeing to come in here a little bit. Look around and see if I can find anything else. Let's check on some of our setups here. Here's Apple. We did push out of the top end of that range. No back test yet. We'll be patient. Google, same deal here. So Apple and Google with that AI news trading up here. No back test of that range yet. That means no trade for us, right? We're going to keep it on something that we can manage. We're going to try to stay away from the gambling. NVIDIA. Same deal here. Pop out of the top end of the range. No back test yet. We will continue to be patient. Okay. Tesla, the opposite. Tesla breaking out of the bottom end of that range here, 168. Let's see if we get a back test here, and then maybe we can open a short. I'm going to leave Tesla up for right now since we're kind of in the process of making this formation. We'll see if this formation actually resolves here. Okay, you know what? I guess maybe I should roll through some of the stocks that you're taking a look at. Let me see if I can I'm going to put Tesla on another chart here since it's the closest to giving us this entry. Let's see if we end up getting it here. Just trying to bounce back. I do want to switch to some of the other stocks that you folks are taking a look at here, but I want to see if this trade sets up because I want to take it if it does. Tesla here breaking down, not back testing that level, still has some down momentum here. We'll come back in on this. Okay, you folks are talking about STI. Oops, I did that. I changed my wrong chart. That was my mistake. STI. Let's see here. STI coming back into that VWAP. Still doing a good job holding above 3, though, by the way. So watch for that. That might still pop here, especially if we get any buying volume to come in. SMCI, first day with the SPY here, trading up. Looks like it did take out. Let me zoom out here and see where we were. Yeah, we did take out Friday's intraday highs. So I guess that's pretty good here on SMCI. Tesla still moving down. Jane in STI, excuse me, 313. Let me go ahead and bring STI back up here. Tesla looks like an opportunity. Sure does. We want to wait and see if our plan comes to fruition here. Timothy, good morning, Timothy, mentioning Wave D. Or I think you said Wave, but I'm pretty sure you mean Wave D. Legs here, indeed. Great call here, Tim. This is actually coming right up to that pre-market. I expect some resistance here, but if we pop through it, it could go. 522 your high. Let's see. We testing it and through. And an immediate pullback. So look at that. Again, so glad we're not trading these upside range breaks. That is some nasty stuff. This back to the VWAP here. Let's see if this sets up on Wave D for a potential another impulse move up. This a little bit riskier than some of the other setups that we've taken a look at here today. Wave D still holding towards this VWAP. I've got the VWAP right at, let's try to give you a point here, 462. Currently at 470 here, Wave D. Jay Rice, good morning, my man. Good morning. By the way, Jay, the recommendation for the low compression balls, that was great. I was hitting a Shrixon that was 90 compression, and I honestly felt like this sounds crazy, but I felt like I was making better contact with the lower compression ball. I did start with a higher compression ball, and I kind of worked out some of the kinks first round of the year, but overall, it was a great round. That was really good recommendation. And I only lost 3 balls for my first round this year. Really not that bad considering I'm still learning. Wave D, by the way, after we pulled back to this VWAP, looks like it just lost it here. Let's wait for Wave D to firm up. Jonathan mentioning that the spreads open up fast. That definitely makes it harder to trade, at least for me. So keep an eye on that. Wave D here. That tell you what, man, that topside break, this is nasty action. This is the type of action that I'm trying to stay away from. We had a little bit of a talk last week about some of these smaller stocks being gambling. This is the type of thing that people are talking about. We had a lot of strength there, expanding volume, popped the top side of that range, and bang, sold right off to the VWAP. Let's see if Wave D sets up here. I'm going to roll through some of the other bigger setups that we had here. NVIDIA, look at this. No back test on this trade. Google, all right. So Google's impulse move slowing down. Let's see if we come back into that 150 here to give us a long entry on Google. That one is under watch. Apple slowing down after its initial impulse move, but that has some more work to do to come back here. Tesla, we were looking for the downside trade here. Okay, maybe we'll bounce back here on Tesla. You know, the other thing that I'm noticing about Tesla here is at the bottom end of this range, the longer we stay down here, this is actually going to start to line up with the VWAP. So we'll move back towards this range or VWAP and a hold there, meaning we might go lower here on Tesla, ticker TSLA. Oh. All right, let me have a sip of coffee here real quick. But I tell you what, it's different feeling without having someone else here to help with the talking. Tesla actually looking like it's going to continue its weakness. Look at these red volume bars here on this 3-minute chart for Tesla. Nothing but selling pressure after that minor gap up. My goodness, I love coffee. Okay, Tesla, let's see if this bounces back. Kevin mentioning, is that Kevin? Kevin mentioning CGC, if you want entertainment, CGC up 13%. Looks like this was a dip and rip here on CGC. Tesla here, are we getting a trade? We getting a trade. Tesla maybe firming up here, turning to some buying candles. Let's see if we get back to that 168.50-ish area. 168 to 168.50. That seems to be the area. If we trade up there and we actually stay beneath it, that might be a good short entry here on Tesla. Look around and make sure I'm not missing anything. Nope, looking pretty good. Let's take a look here real quick while we're waiting for this Tesla to resolve. IPWR, we mentioned the exclusive news here. IPWR extremely thin as thinking about set it. This actually up on that news. Let's see if it holds. No new trade here based on the volume on iPower. Again, I cannot stress enough that when you're dealing with thin names here, patience is going to be key. Chasing moves because someone talks about it, not the right thing to do. But I do want to highlight news, especially exclusive news that Benzinga can give you the edge on. Okay, Tesla, let's see if we can trade back up here. Jay mentioning that the IWM is red. That would make sense given some of these smaller stocks and the action here today. Let's see if Tesla gives us a move back to the VWAP. We can try and open up a new short here on Tesla. If that setup holds. Kevin mentioning CLS may very well make another run up around 48.40. It just moved above its hourly. Let me check on that here. I do want to keep Tesla. I don't want to move too far away from Tesla. Okay, here's CLS. This is coming back to its VWAP here. This is Celestica. I'm actually not familiar with this one. Tesla looks like it was trying to come back there. We'll see if it gets back to that VWAP. NVIDIA holding above its VWAP. Google might make another run higher here. Jay, you also mentioned AMD this morning. Looks like AMD trading down to its close area on Friday. There's Tesla. Boy, that didn't quite get back up to that level. Made it a little bit more difficult, but it looks like we are moving down here. Apple still running. Apple pretty strong out of the gate here. It's feeling a little heavy up here, but hasn't pulled. Hasn't pulled on that news. Verb is up. Is that a penny stock, Sydney? Yeah. So this was a penny stock. Oh, this has had two pretty big days. Verb trying to flirt with being a dollar stock here. So that is moving. Good call there, Sydney. SMR dropping from HOD. So SMR, this was another one of those smaller names. Really big impulse candle there to move it away from the VWAP, but we're coming back in now. TSM getting mentioned. Haven't looked at that one yet today. TSM, nice pullback to the VWAP and hold. See here, my Tesla. This looks like this has got some more downside here. Really didn't give me that confirmed bounce to the VWAP, though. Boeing getting mentioned here. That looks like that's going lower. Again, big thing for me on Boeing. What happens at 175? Okay, what happens at 175 on Boeing? That's what I'm waiting for here. GOEV, another stock here. This actually took off the top end of the range and didn't get nasty. How about that? Broke the intraday highs here, going higher here. No pull yet, GOEV. Biggest volume candle of the day right here. A little bit of size above 281. 281. Verb is driving hard. Good luck on the penny for you penny players out there. AISP, this actually doing a fairly decent job holding its impulse move here, still above the VWAP. Tesla, by the way. So, okay, so let's analyze the trade setup. Okay, let's analyze the trade setup here on Tesla. Remember, we're just doing this channel, right? We want to see the move away from the channel. Well, looks like I just drew my line a little sloppily. That's all that happened here. The setup was pretty good, right? We broke the bottom end of that range. We actually did pop back to the VWAP. We tried to hold here. We never quite got back to the range, so I never actually entered the position, and now it looks like we're getting that flush. This is the exact movement we wanted to see. I would have liked this to have been a little bit closer to the levels that I identified, but this now gives me a target to be 2% better tomorrow. Maybe I can come up with a little bit better range for the next time the stock does this. This formation here, this is playing out. And this looks like this would have worked here with Tesla if I was a little bit more aggressive on the entry. With it being Monday, with me still having the birthday vibes hangover, going to be a little bit more cautious here. Not mad about missing this. Instead, I'm thrilled to see that the setup we're trying to trade is materializing. That is awesome. That tells me that I'm going to be able to do this, even if I didn't hit it here today. NVIDIA, this did come back to the VWAP and is holding above. Google, this looks like new highs here. What did I do wrong? AAPL. Apple, new highs here. Boy, Apple really strong off this move here. MSTR being mentioned by Jay at the low of the day here. So yikes. Bitcoin, now that I look at the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin selling off that 68,500 level we talked about earlier. Bitcoin futures plunging here to below 68K. We'll see where that firms up. Goldman Sachs, interestingly, just red candles right out of the gate here. We talked a little bit about the financials being stronger last week. A little bit of weakness here. JPM also weak, but really not terrible, just kind of flat here. BA getting mentioned by Kevin. I think BA is going to 170 at least. Kevin, I think that you're probably pretty spot on there. I just think that there are some mile markers on the way down. Google soaring. Yeah, Google, that was a real strong move out of that break, Jamal. You know, this never gave us the setup that we want. And really, you know, I'm looking at this now. I knew that I had kind of a tight range on Google, but I didn't really see anything else in the near-term chart to give me that range, so I just marked that off. We never even came back. Tesla was much closer to coming back to that range for the trade plan here. Looks like the SPY is doing a good job holding up here. The Qs look like they're trying to move higher here. Dow has already reversed its gains. That's making a move back to balance here today. Tesla continuing to trade lower here. Boy, that trade would have worked perfectly. That setup is money, folks. We're going to be looking to play that every single day here. We're going to be looking to play that every single day until it doesn't work anymore. What else you folks got out there? What does my chat scanner have for us? WLDS, I think someone mentioned this. This is another one of those smaller names here today. A penny stock. Looks like this just gave up its gains right out of the open. How's Wave D doing? Wave D broke beneath its VWAP. This pretty much now really needs to reclaim that VWAP to have any type of strength. GOEV, this pushing up away from its VWAP. Tell you what, this break out of this little flag here, this was a great move. No, and we didn't get any of that nasty pullback stuff either. Caleb saying my Google call looking juicy. Bought a 2025 leap a couple of weeks ago. Way to go, Caleb. Lauren, good morning, Lauren, mentioning PLTR. Let's take a look at that one here. PLTR, definitely one I want to get a little bit cheaper. PLTR moving to the bottom end of the range. Really, if I zoom out here, let's take a look. Really, the thing that's got me concerned for more downside, I'm not sure what you're looking at here on Palantir, but if you're looking for more downside here, this 2342, let's call it 2350, that level really needs to snap for this to move down anymore. We'll see if this actually gets range bound here, Palantir. New highs for Airship. That was one that you folks were mentioning. AISP. Apple still showing some strength as that continues to push away. Tesla maybe trying to bounce. Not sure I buy that, folks. Not sure I buy that one. Google coming back to the VWAP here. Let's see if we get a move back down to 150 on Google and a hold there. That'd be pretty cool. Logi getting mentioned. This is Logitech, if I'm not mistaken. Did they have earnings here this morning? Let's see. Let me take a look at that here. Logitech shares trading lower after the company announced the departure of CFO Chuck Boynton and then reaffirmed their guidance. Okay, so it looks like the CFO outgoing there on Logitech, that selling it off to the lows. Maybe this curls and bounces here. Wayne, let me know what you're looking at in terms of a trade plan here. I'd be interested. Are you looking for a break of the lows and short, maybe some more downside action here? Or are you looking for a bounce back towards that 90 handle? Would love to know what you're looking at here on Logitech. Appreciate you bringing this up. I didn't have this on my radar. Shame on me. Shame on me. Daniel, 13 is dealing with a family issue. He's going to be doing that here this week. He should be back here today. He started the show off to give us his list of stocks that he was looking at. We do expect him back here in about a half an hour. So sit tight. 13 will be back. 13 will be back. We have a concept here at Benzinga that your family is extremely important. So we definitely make time for people to handle what they need to handle. Oh, did you guys have an over-under bet on when we were going to get the Where's 13? Let me know who won that bet. Yeah, everything's fine. It was totally planned. Shout out to him for mentioning it last week. I am trying to bring on more guests as well, so I am going to try and fill this up. I'm going to make sure that we have just as great of a show this week as we had the past couple of months here. So don't worry about that. Nothing to be concerned about. OCGN, the D. Interesting handle there, the D. OCGN, let's take a look at that one here. It looks like that is moving here just a little bit. This is kind of a low price. By the way, Tesla looked like it was trying to bounce a little bit there. Nope. Rolling back over here to the lows. Apple still at the highs. Wow, Apple. Around here, let me see what some of their other day trading friends are doing here. Wave D is the first stock that I see getting mentioned by said traders. See if we can make a move back to the VWAP. I'll tell you what, that yank on Wave D was some nasty stuff. Have you been crying in your pillow over the Blackhawks? No, not at all. In fact, the exact opposite. First of all, my Blackhawks got a win on my birthday yesterday. Bedard, 2 points, including his first career empty net goal. The last game I cashed a parlay on. I've actually been really hot with the NHL parlays. And then overall, Kevin, if the Blackhawks finish with the worst record here, we have another chance at the second year in a row at having the first overall pick. And let me tell you, I'm glad we got Bedard last year, but Macklin, Celebrini, this kid can play. If we get that pick again, we're going to be a juggernaut. No, I'm feeling really good about where my Blackhawks are. And if you want to take a look at something awesome, go ahead and Google the NHL rookie point leaders and take a look at that chart. And you'll see Bedard is almost lapping the field even after missing 16 games with a broken jaw. Kid is an absolute stud. Okay, anyway, away from the hockey talk, Adobe getting mentioned. We talked about this one. I know Anne-Marie setting up a trade here on Adobe. Looks like the lows were put in, at least for Friday here. Adobe traded up here so far, doing a good job holding this 500 level. Let's see what kind of close we get on Adobe around that 500 level. Tesla, looks like we're bouncing back to the VWAP here on Tesla. Let's see how strong this bounce is. My Montreal Canadiens are working hard to get that first round pick. Look, Celebrini is a stud. He is an 18-year-old absolute stud. I think Anaheim and San Jose also looking to get him. I believe he's from the West Coast. So I think he probably wants to go back there, but come play with Bedard here in Chicago. Meta, that's a good one. You know what? I haven't actually looked at that. We looked at some of the other tech names here. Let's see on Meta. This one kind of holding here. Remember, Meta, if you take a look at this daily chart here, Meta pretty decent on this floating island. This actually gave a pretty good long side swing setup. I didn't take it just because I hate this company so much. I generally don't trade it, but the trade worked out here. This is an example of me really, I should have probably pushed my bias to the side and swung this thing. Okay, let's see what we're SOUN. That's another one. That one has been hot recently. Let's see where we are in SOUN. Looks like we sold off a little bit here, but bounced off 860 on ticker SOUN. STI, by the way, that's another one of the big smaller movers here today, doing a really good job holding 3. This actually working its way back above VWAP here on STI. Maybe we get another run here in STI. Verb has meta news. Let me pull that up here in my news platform here real quick. Verb Technology. Remember, this is the penny stock. I'll bring it up here while we talk about it real quick. Verb here. Verb technology shares are trading higher, possibly on continued strength after the company on Friday announced its Market.live launched Facebook and Instagram social shopping technology integration. Also, the company announced it added 100 more retail brands to its live stream social shopping program. So it looks like a digital shopping program there. That is your tie-in with Meta, ticker Verb. This doing a decent job holding up here. I'm going to completely pass on this. This is not for me. But Rob, you're spot on here with the news call. Looks like we're getting some continuation on that news here today. Kevin, check out NTR. It's being blocked hard at $4. Let's take a look here at NTR and see what we can uncover. NTR, what did you say? Oh, $54. I beg your pardon. That's actually right above the VWAP here. Ticker NTR. Nutrien. I'm not sure I've traded this before. By the way, the 200-day here at 57.65. That would be a change in sentiment if this stock can move up to that 200-day and then trade above it. We're only 4 points away here. You know what? This one not a bad idea to add to your watch list for the next couple of weeks here. See if we get a long side trade here on NTR coming up off the bottom. Yeah, this was a good call, Kevin. I appreciate you bringing this to the group here. I really do. Really do. And Jay, I know that you were in here. I'm not sure if you were here earlier. CCJ doing a decent job continuing its bounce off the 200-day. I know that you shouted this out last week. I did take this. I did take a little bit of this. So I opened some CCJ. Lycee, this is another penny stock here. This pushing up. IMRX pushing up here. Let's take a look at Tesla and see where we're at on Tesla. All right. So Tesla did a really good job breaking the bottom end of that range here. Looks like we're trading back up towards the VWAP. Let's see if Tesla can actually reach that VWAP. I'm bummed I didn't get that trade set up. That worked out perfectly here. NVIDIA coming back to the top end of that range. This is actually beneath its VWAP now. Take a look here. Google. This came back to its VWAP. Did a really good job holding there on Google. Jay saying the breath is lousy. A few names in the Mag 7 are strong. Big rotation. Okay, well, that's going to be something to watch here. All right. We are waiting on our guest here, Matt Malley. Matt, you ready to go? All right, let's go ahead and bring on Matt Malley, folks. Matt, good morning. How you doing today?
Good. How about you? Another exciting day. Nothing. You think we might have a boring Monday one of these days, but just not happening today. That's for sure.
Hey, look, if we get a boring Monday, the Monday after my birthday would be ideal for that. So far, we did have some setups here. Market looked like it was trading up on some good news here this morning. Some of these moves reversing. The big news here this morning that I was taking a look at, Matt, I know we got the FOMC coming on Wednesday, so we'll see what that does to the broader market. Bigger news that I saw here this morning was going to be Google and Apple on that AI news. To me, this seems like a net negative for Apple. We were trying to look for a potential day trade here on one of these, really didn't get the setup that we were looking at. You got any thoughts on this Apple AI news or the AI craze in general?
Well, I mean, well, first of all, you talk about day after a birthday. The day after St. Patrick's Day is probably a good day for a quiet day, but we just didn't get.
Tell me about it.
But anyway, in all seriousness, though, but obviously, the one thing that's very interesting to see how much kind of follow through we have here. I'm just glancing over at my screens here over to the side. The market's coming back a little bit. What's going to happen? I mean, the whole AI craze, of course, has been fabulous. But what's happening today with this news about Google and Apple, and it reminds me of a lot of what we saw last year. It was in May. It wasn't the exact same time, but back in May of last year, we saw Advanced Micro Devices. They reported earnings. They were disappointing. The stock went down for 1 day. The next, I think it might have been 2 days. The next day, Microsoft comes in and says, "Hey, we're going to help invest. We're going to invest in AMD for their future for AI." And the stock, Advanced Micro Devices, went from whatever it was, like an 8 or 9% sell-off, and just took off, and then rallied for the next how many months? Okay, and this started, again back in May, and So are we having the same type of thing here? Advanced micro, I'm sorry, AMD went down for a day or two, and then rallied. Now, of course, Google's been going down for a while now. So has Apple. Is this the kind of news that's going to save them and cause this huge rally that's going to take it to the moon? Well, maybe. I mean, there's certainly, you have the argument with the one thing with Google, of course, is everybody saying they're losing market share on search. And this could be a thing that really changes that. They get their AI thing on the Apple iPhone. That could be a real game changer for them. The question, though, is that how much, what kind of, where are we in the marketplace right now compared to where we were last year? I mean, the market is a lot more expensive than it was last year. A lot of these stocks, not all of them, but a lot of these stocks are a lot more expensive than they were last year. Even Google. Now, Google's not expensive at 20 times earnings or so, but it's still a lot more. It's still a lot more expensive than it was this time last year when it was 15 times earnings. And I guess my point is that just because we're having a similar situation that could turn out to be quite positive for Google, it doesn't mean we're going to get the same overall reaction, because we've already seen huge moves in these things. So we need to be a little bit careful about this euphoria. I mean, it was funny. I wrote this morning my morning comment that the reason why Kirk Cousins got so much money in his NFL contract, even though he'd only won one playoff game, was because he used the term AI in his contract negotiation 300 times. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm joking, but this euphoria has gotten so much that you just wonder about, as long as you mention AI in anything, you go out to dinner, you should probably get half price for if you mention AI to the server, right?
Matt, you're spot on with that. So first of all, over the course of the weekend, I was watching the Players Tournament, and I couldn't help but notice that some of the new golf clubs this year are AI themed. Now, you tell me how an AI is going to help a golf club. To your point about everyone talking about it, cabbies, Uber drivers, even my mother is asking me about AI. We've seen plenty of these smaller stocks produce some type of PR with AI in it. They go crazy. Right. So the AI craze here. Do you think that this, how much legs do you think this has? Do you think that this is a bubble? Do you think that this is something that is actually going to kind of change the landscape here? How do you factor that in, especially given that the market is extended?
Yeah, I mean, this is the whole thing. You have to keep it in picture it compared to what's going on in the entire marketplace. Again, a year ago, the market was flat on its back because of the regional bank crisis. Mm-hmm. The market has sold off in a big way. Then AI. So you went from an oversold condition to a relatively cheap market, especially in a lot of these stocks, and then they just took off from there. When they're already expensive, that gives them less upside to rally from. But more importantly, we have to look at what the whole situation it really involves. I mean, the world has been changed by these kind of types of things. I mean, every single time we get a game-changing event, AI is going to change the world, but so did the internet. It will say, well, no. I mean, if you want to do research on anything right now, you just pull up your internet and get it. Before, you go to the library, and they didn't have enough right books. Then you go to the university library down the road. Forget it. It has changed the world, but it hasn't changed the way the markets have reacted. Certain stocks have done extremely well. I mean, obviously, Amazon was one of the great internet companies. The stock went up tens of thousands of percent, right? And it deserved to, but that didn't keep it from going down 90% when the bubble burst. But my biggest thing, and again, I'm not trying to say that NVIDIA is going to go down 90%, but the point is, you don't need to have a 1999, 2000 style bubble for the market to settle back in at some point, to see a correction, maybe even a deep one. I don't know that we'll get a full deep correction, but people forget last year that NVIDIA had a 20% pullback. I mean, it's had 10% pullbacks this year. I mean, the stock's been the greatest stock in the last 12 months of almost any stock in history, and yet it does still see pullbacks. So, especially for those of us who like to engage, we all want to have long-term investments. For those who also like to take advantage of short-term moves, we want to, and of course, we have the tools to do that nowadays with weekly options and things like that. Yep. We want to be able to take advantage of the moves in both directions. But don't listen to those people who say, hey, it's not as bad as 2000, so therefore the market can't go down, or therefore the market has to keep going up a lot more. That's ridiculous. Yes, all it's telling you, when somebody tells you it's not 1999, 2000 again, all they're really telling you is that that means we're not going to get, the NASDAQ's not going to go down 80%. but it doesn't mean it can't go down 10 or 15% at some point. So for those who are nimble traders, be willing to take advantage of that, because I do think we'll probably see one in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I'm with you on there. And I'll get you. First of all, Matt, I really appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much for giving us your market commentary. I'll get you out of here on this. You're talking about a larger kind of a potential larger correction here. I know a couple of weeks ago you started buying some SQQQ calls. Looks like you were trimming them at a couple of 100% last week. So awesome trade there. Let me ask you, how are you positioning yourself for maybe a larger down move?
Well, there's a couple ways to do it. The one that has not worked at all in a while, of course, is the VIX calls. But that's more insurance. That's not really a bet. You go out a couple of, you can go out and buy the $25 or even $30, certainly $20, 30 calls out in August or something, or even into the fall. But that's insurance. That's money that you're not necessarily, hey, I'm going to make money on it in the next couple of weeks. People have been buying VIX calls the last year and it had gone nowhere. But that is a good insurance policy. But other ways to do it, again, are in some of these leveraged ETFs, whether it be SQQQ, which you can buy on its own, or you can buy calls on the SQQQ. There's also, of course, TQQQ, which is the opposite. That's the 3 times leveraged bullish ETF but the big moves are very likely going to come in these tech stocks, and the QQQ or these leveraged ETFs, I think, are the real way to play it. And I write about this in the Mailer Report, themailerreport.com, and we also have it in the Benzinga chat room, where we have made some real nice money in these, both the Qs, the SQQQ puts and calls, because we want to be able to take advantage of the volatility in both directions.
Absolutely. And I would actually just kind of add on there. You mentioned technology. I think you're spot on that. The other thing is obviously you can take a look at SOXS. If you want to kind of limit that to the semiconductors, you can also use that same ETF strategy to do that. I know SOXS, really low price here, probably is going to trade better after it does its reverse split here. And then SOXL would be the inverse of that. So, okay. Matt, I really appreciate this. Your outlook is extremely valuable. Folks, if you want to see more of Matt and his commentary, as he mentioned, head on over to benzinga.com/research. Matt does a great job. Matt, your trading has been absolutely on fire recently. Really, really excited. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Talk to you soon.
Take care of yourself. All right, folks, that is Matt Malley. Again, can't thank him enough. Anytime that we see a market moving like this, I want to be able to make as much sense of this as possible, and bringing in the people that have an experienced eye is going to be paramount for that. We can't thank Matt enough. Again, go check out his service there on the research side. So let me ask you folks, after hearing that, any thoughts on the market? Are any of you folks trying to position yourself one way or another, whether it be an AI breakout or perhaps a pullback down back towards balance, maybe just like as Matt was saying, a little bit of a correction in there? Let me know how you're positioning yourself and what you think of the market. We are excited for the next potential move here. Okay, let me catch up with the chat. Lynn saying, great to see Matt here. Been followers for a while. Lynn, you know I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to try to bring in the big brain people here. Matt has been doing this for a long time. His commentary is excellent. I really appreciate the feedback there. Let's take a look and see some of the other stocks. So thinking about it, thank you very much. Look at this alert system. Tesla back at the VWAP here. So remember, when we were trading Tesla here, we got back up to that VWAP before, just shy of it. I really would like it to come up a little bit more here, and then maybe we can short that here. When I look over at the NASDAQ, it looks like it did kind of trade down. It looks like it's trying to go back to the top end of that range. So what I want to do here is I want to be a little bit more patient with this trade. Let's see if the NASDAQ slows down a little bit as Tesla moves to that 168 level, and then maybe we can actually short. We're only about a quarter of a way here, maybe one more pop, and we can give this a shot here at a swing short, or excuse me, a day trade short. Wow, almost caught myself there. Okay, scanner's gone dry, says Jonathan. Looking at my smaller price scanner here, that is indeed drying up. Remember, we talked about this a little bit, seeing how this week was going to go. I think we're probably going to be a little bit low volume until we get towards that the Fed meeting here on Wednesday. We'll see if that actually brings volume into the market, or does that dry it up a little bit more? That should be interesting to see. Okay, Jonathan, looks like Tesla here fallen a little bit from the VWAP. Looks like we didn't quite get back up to that level. Let's see. It's still battling around in here. And here we go. Maybe we get this move back up to the bottom end of that range. Uh-oh. Folks, I got good news for you. Thumbs up, thumbs down like Gladiator. That's what we're going to do like the Emperor. Can I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down? 13. Thumbs up. Guess who's back?
Hello.
I'll tell you what, 13. I got some good news and I got bad news, and it's both the same.
Bring me up to speed. What's going on?
The good news here is that as soon as you left, we had someone join that said, "Where's 13?" So people are missing you. So people are missing you. I don't know.
Somebody called that this morning. Who said that? Because that's funny.
I think it was Jay Summers that called it, and sure enough, it happened. I guess there really is no bad news. I guess I was thinking about some bad news. Didn't really have it. Okay, Tesla, let's see if we end up getting this 13. We just had Matt Malley on. It was awesome. Excited for you to be around when he's on next week. But let's go ahead. Let's see if there's anything that you're taking a look at here. I know that you just got back into the seat. I'll tell you what, though, I need to step away for just one moment. Sure. Can you hold the fort down, my man?
Yeah.
BRB,
tell me what's going on. What do we have here? Getty Images has a conference today? I didn't even know that they had a stock. That's interesting. Scanner's gone dry. Well, it was looking that way this morning when I was taking a look at it. There was not a whole lot that was interesting me, so that is not surprising. What's really moving is STI doing things, or is that kind of falling out of bed here? Let's see. I don't know what's going on right now. I just got back out of it. Okay, so everything's fine. Don't worry. It's just that I'm pulling single parent duty this week while my wife's at a conference. Not a big deal. And looks like Google popped and filled that gap that I was mentioning, and now we're coming back in. So there was a great opportunity right out of the open with Google. Awesome stuff, but we're still higher than that pre-market consolidation we've got. So that's good news. What else? Energy conference. I have no idea what the energy conference is. The one I'm referring to is a developers conference. I'm going to get some juicy details on what's coming up with AI in the developer space. Verb. Remember this one from last week. This one was up this morning and it's going higher. Look at that. Looks like it wants to break the 73-cent high that we made this morning. Let's see if that happens here in a bit. Hey, Ryan, how was that?
Okay, so I came back at just the right time. Look what Tesla's doing. Tesla threw the VWAP, but it's right to that area that we were talking about. Let's see here on Tesla. Do we try it, folks? Do we try it? Let's try it. We're going to do
what's your target here?
25 shares right here on Tesla. Remember, we were looking for a move back to this level, and now we want to see the next move down here. Let's see if we end up getting that. If we trade back up above, we're going to put a stop here right at about 169.51 to the upside.
I will look at IMRX, Carmen. Take a look at that. Oh, wow, look at this one. It had a nice move out of the open this morning through a bunch of EMAs and VWAP. And now we're testing, now we're below VWAP, trying to test some of those EMAs we broke through. I don't even know what the news is on this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to find something going on here.
I will help you out because I just put my stop in here on Tesla so we can let that work. What was the ticker? Can you remember? IMRX?
That's right.
We are in it. This is a Ring here. Ooh, this is actually moving here. I don't see any fresh news from today.
Mm-hmm.
See some downgrades from Friday.
Yeah. The price target to $3. Guess what? We went over that this morning, like maybe 10 minutes ago, and now we're coming back in. I don't know about what's going, about this one. I'm not even sure what this does. Probably some biotech and working on, oncology. Okay, so there's that. I was
going to say that I can help you with here. Biopharma, patient outcomes across debilitating oncologic and neurologic diseases. Okay.
Got some. This is okay. So this is the one that had that crazy short interest days to cover that I usually never see.
Yes, it did. Yep.
Okay, this one I remember. This one from
the
last
53.
Week,
that's right. That's good memory. 13.
It's hanging in there. That's for sure.
Good memory.
Okay. So from Friday, there was Thursday data from the company's phase 1 portion of. Okay, this was the one that. I think this was the one that had that misleading.
It is.
Okay.
It is. So real quickly, I just want to mention this. We're going to go to that. We're going to cover that 13 because I think
Okay.
you uncovered some really good stuff there. Real quickly, Smoke Tuna mentioning BNAI. There were a couple of traders here. I think Bex, I think you were trading this one. BNAI here ended up trading above 20 in the after-hour session on Friday. It came in a little bit here today. Looks like it's curling back up there. In fact, did this just get halted? BNAI halted third time today here. This to the upside. Ticker BNAI. Careful with this one.
Is it? This doesn't have a whole lot of news. Is this IPO recently?
BNAI?
Yeah. It looks like it has. I mean, it may have been a former ticker for some
I think this was a SPAC, dude. I think this was a SPAC from maybe. Well, let's see. Let me see if it. Offers a sweet. You know what? It doesn't say in here. Let's see what the news here says. No. Thursday. This was a ticker change.
Gotcha.
Okay, BNAI. This used to be ticker BEN. BEN announces closing of business combination to begin trading on the Nasdaq under ticker BNAI. So that's why you have that there. Good spot there again. Let's go.
Hey, you saw it, and this is. I think you're right. This was a SPAC because there's an acquisition company that went from BEN, like you said, to this ticker. All right. Well, that explains it.
Smoke Tuna, he's got our back. Kevin says,
yeah, shoot me now. Okay, so yeah, this thing's going down, isn't it?
This thing's going to the moon. Of course it is. BNAI halted here. Let's check in our Tesla trade. Let's see if we're in good shape here. Okay, so it's still hanging out here. It's going against us, but we already have a stop in place. We did this at reduced size, so we're feeling pretty good here. We're going to be as tactical as we can about some of these trades. And you know what? Whether this trade works out or not, the one thing that I want to emphasize, because this was a point of emphasis for myself coming into this week, was don't get excited, right? Don't let the emotions allow you to do something stupid or force you to do something stupid. We want to be very, very tactical. We have a plan. We want to follow the plan. If the plan doesn't materialize in the first 5 or 10 minutes, it is not time to panic and start trading. In fact, it's time to buckle down and wait and see. That's what we're doing here. Even if the trade doesn't work, I'm going to be very, very happy that I was tactical about this and followed the plan. Google, by the way, look at this. Google came back into the top side of that range and bounced, folks.
That's right.
Tesla continuing to go against me here, but we'll see. We're going to have our stop protect us. If that's the case, Google looks like this worked. You know, one of the things I'm going to have to do, 13, is when we have some of these multiple setup mornings, I'm going to have to work on going back and forth and making sure that I'm keeping an eye on both of them here. It looks like we got a perfect setup for what we were looking for in two different stocks, one right before the other.
Well, I'm just looking around at some of these other tickers that are getting mentioned here. Taiwan Semiconductor, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, Neville. I think the ticker
TSM?
have the C. Yeah, they don't have the C at the end there, but I think Taiwan Semiconductor is what he's talking about.
Yeah, it is.
And that one, I mean, I don't really see it moving a whole lot. I don't know what the question is. We're just looking to see how. I mean, it's probably going to poised to do really well, I'd imagine, if we're going to continue to see strength in these semi stocks like Nvidia and their ilk. The whole run. Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, no, it was okay. I was just about to call Tesla trading up towards my stop. We'll see if we end up doing that here. You know what?
Wow, what a nice move in Tesla. And it was, the MACD was kind of curling. So this, if you look at the MACD, we're about to get that crossing there. I'm on a 5-minute anyway. It looks like we're coming back up to that pre-market consolidation we had between 169 and about 171.
I just changed my stop. The specific change, I went to 169.58. Basically, what I did is I basically tightened it to the bottom end of some of these candles here. So I think I moved it about 15 cents. We'll see. It looks like I'm about to get stopped out right here on this potential short. But we did this small. See, we used risk management shorting is not part of my normal trade thesis. So when I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone, I want to make sure I protect myself. And I think I've done a good job here with the trade setup. We'll see if the trade ends up working.
Junie, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Oracle, they're asking about Oracle, and we just had earnings with this company, and I think that the earnings were great. It looks like it wants to go higher. It wouldn't surprise me if it did. This is one of the stronger companies in the networking space that's going to be using a lot of cloud AI servers and things from NVIDIA, and they're part of that. So what I heard for when I read their ER is that they anticipate this cloud AI growth to be in hyper mode. So we're not done here as far as NVIDIA and AMD and those others are concerned. I think we're just going to see a cooling off period, and then we're going to get going again. Couldn't tell you exactly when that's going to happen, but I like Oracle. I think we do end up breaking out here. I just don't know where this run ends, really.
Real quick, stopped out on Tesla. So that day trade didn't work, but that's okay. We got stopped out small there. Really, really happy with how that trade was set up. Like I mentioned earlier, looks like I simply just picked the wrong one here today. Google came back into that level and is bouncing off of that. Really quickly, just to kind of finish up the discussion here on Oracle 13. That was my fault. I did the wrong one. Here's the daily chart on Oracle. We actually got the set. I was busy on Friday afternoon, and that is why I missed this trade. Now, that's okay. I'm a little bit disappointed because this is one of my favorite formations. But I mean, like I said, I was kind of out of pocket on Friday. What I see here on Oracle is my textbook floating island swing long setup. We popped to a new area here. We actually back tested the bottom end of this range. You'll see here on this back test that we traded below the range, but then the buyers bought us back up and we closed over this range. This candle right here, entry swing long on that close. We of course gapped up here today. Look for this to take out the top of this first candle. That high I have here is 129.37. We're at 128.77. Look for that 129.37 to get broke. I think we test 130 and move higher here on Oracle. If you took this swing from last week, you are cooking right now on Oracle. Sorry I missed this, but the setup was there. The setup is working yet again. Let me go back to trade the pool here, and we will take a look at what's going on. Google, man, this really, really working. Tesla, by the way, continuing its bounce here. So this is exactly why I want to get out of the way on this potential short. What will be interesting to see here on Tesla, do we slow down at this 170, 171 area, or do we take that out too? Part of me wonders if this reverses here. If so, I want to pay attention to that price action, because this actually might dictate how we're going to trade some of these names going forward this week.
I'm just taking a look at MDGL. It's
that was one of the winners from last week.
It's quite slow moving, but it's having a good morning.
Gary Fabian saying I got shook out and stop hunted on Oracle. Gary, that is always going to be a worry. Sorry about that, my man. The one thing I will say is that you can always look for the next potential setup, right? If you still think your thesis is in play, look for some of those key levels and try and be patient and see if you get another setup to get that back here. Water?
Hey, I know I haven't been around this morning, but did you take a look at Root?
I have not yet. Oh, gosh.
Oh, look at Brad. He just said it too. Awesome. I love that we have that connection, man.
Root continuing here. We had another move up on Friday above that 50 level. We did an excellent job holding that 50 level. Today, we're pushing away from that 50 level. If you take a look here at the daily chart, just this rocket into this consolidation area. And now the next leg up. Where does this stock end? Oh, or where does it slow down? You tell me. You tell me.
My answer is I don't know.
I don't know either, man. And like I've said it before, this one definitely feels like a miss. I mean, the movement that this stock gave, just absolutely incredible. Couple more stocks that I wanted to mention here. We talked about EH early. This was EHang. This was that air taxi that we had news on earlier, this Chinese air taxi. This has really kind of come back in, but it's doing a decent job holding this area. So maybe a pushback towards the VWAP. Some of the other stocks that we were looking at here this morning, here's TSVT. This is that 270 bio. This completely round tripped the move, bounced, and is moving higher now.
What is Taobao? I've never heard of that. Taobao, Taobao. That's where EHang's been selling their flying taxis. Never heard of that platform.
I don't know. Yeah.
If they're selling their flying taxis now, and we don't have any what regulations do they have in using these? I don't know. I don't know. This has got some, red flags are waving kind of like this for me on that one.
I mean, look, unlicensed, no regulation, people flying their own personal
Yeah.
aircraft. That's got red flags all over the place for me. I'm excited
Yeah.
about technology for the future, but I don't want to be on the bleeding edge. I'll be safe about it. By the way, BNAI, good call here. This is open and moving. NVEI, this is another one we looked at here this morning. This one popped. This has kind of come in. Maybe it's found a bottom and curling back up towards the top end of that range there. That would be one to watch.
Pixie is
Oh God, here we go.
Is also really getting some volatile moves here. It slowed down over the past couple minutes, but man, about 10 minutes ago, it was really starting to move.
GRWG, this is another pot name, likely moving with the CGC and Tilray moves here this morning.
That was
GRWG, Grow Generation.
Cannabis sector's moving off of comments from the administration to reschedule the drug. Is that what it's moving off of? I remember seeing some news. I just don't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, let me, you know what? I get this cannabis news mixed up a lot. Let me pull up CGC and I actually read you the headline here. So Friday, late in the afternoon, we got news here. Cannabis stocks jump on news that the DEA may soon undertake marijuana reform. So yes, 13, it looks like that's exactly what it would be.
Okay.
Let me see if they here. World-renowned hedge fund manager posted on X, formerly Twitter. This is Doug Cass, by the way. Excuse me, I should have used his name. Doug Cass been around for a long time. Doug Cass, Friday, the DEA will approve the rescheduling of cannabis to Schedule 3. It's 13. You were spot on with that news.
Schedule 3. Okay. Good, because I think it's Schedule 1 right now, isn't it?
I believe so.
Looks
STI,
like yep.
Volume pop above its VWAP on STI.
Push through 320 and we go higher.
At 320 right now, a little bit of size at 325 and 328.
There we go. Big news at Hertz for a short. The CEO is gone. I think we knew about that coming, though. There was some news over the weekend about him potentially stepping down. And speaking of CEOs potentially stepping down, I personally think Tim Cook's days are numbered.
Yeah, you know what? There's been talk about this for a while, but I think you're on to something, 13. I really do. I think that it's probably time to start reassessing.
Yeah, with the settlement that came out over his comments that that ultimately misled investors, that amounted to almost $500 million. I don't know a whole lot of CEOs that are going to be able to stomach that, let alone the board of the company that's going to be able to stomach that. But if the CEO opens his mouth and loses $500 million, that's not good.
That's generally speaking a net negative.
Yeah. So, and there's other things too that could see him removed or step down. But I think that was kind of the big thing for me. Like, okay, this guy's, he's he's scrapping the Apple car. He's buying and partnering with competitors for the AI, which they're way behind on. And now he's costing the company by opening his mouth. There's not good things. Not good things.
Pixie, by the way, halted to the downside as that pulled off of its impulse move there on Pixie, ticker PIXY.
Uh-oh. Tinkerbell is down.
Tinkerbell?
She's a pixie, isn't she?
Oh, I see. I was like, what ticker is Tinkerbell? WLDS, this has actually not come off its bottom. I know it was a smaller one we were kind of watching here. GOEV got mentioned earlier here today. That's actually beneath its VWAP. Lycee, this was a penny stock, I think we looked earlier. There, Lycee making a move for $1 here.
That's not a good ticker in my opinion.
Which one? Lycee? Yeah.
Makes me itchy.
Looking around here. GCT, this got mentioned, I think, a number of times. This is GigaCloud. It's had a pretty decent move on Friday. Really gave everything back, pretty much round-tripped after that move on Friday, GCT.
Yeah, and the open on Friday went all the way down to 34.41. Maybe we see a bounce here soon in this. Maybe we get that support from that particular level. Because that would be, if you look to the left over Friday and Thursday, that was the support area for those past 2 days when they sold off at the open. Doing it again, we're selling off at the open. I think we'd want to take a look at that level as being potentially support and a reversal area.
I just glanced up at CNBC, and it would appear as if Morgan Brennan is flying on a Swarovski helicopter. So maybe this is bullish for Lockheed.
Oh, I think Lockheed's going to do just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of joking around. It just she looks a little nervous. I mean, this helicopter's about to take off. Anyway, I just kind of glanced at that. Really didn't have any context on it. By the way, taking a look at Tesla here, sometimes your first stop is your best stop, folks. I thought I had a really good trade plan here based on what we've seen. Tesla had other plans for my trade plan, okay? And it was like, nope, we're not doing that. Your first stop is your best stop here. Glad to be out of the way with just a small loss here. Still working off profits from last week. 13 is the most casual joke teller.
Oh, deadpan is the best.
Yeah, it really is the best. I will say 13, I can really appreciate this. I do casual jokes as well. Sometimes don't land or take a few seconds. There's a little bit of that awkward silence in there sometimes, but that, that's what keeps life interesting. So I can really appreciate this comment here.
STI, I think, is worth watching for another move up if we can hold above VWAP.
320 still looks to be that spot there on STI. NVEI here, this still holding its gain. Not really moving though, Kevin.
Yeah, it didn't hold VWAP, or it's trying to anyway, STI.
Here we go on VWAP. Tesla moving higher here. Big volume candle there on Tesla too. Let's take a look at some of the other stocks that we were looking at. NVIDIA, this came back to its 905. That's breaking through there on NVIDIA.
Looks like it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all right. Apple's done a really good job holding up here. Here is Google. This was the play, 13. This off the top end of the range was the play.
It's a really big deal in my opinion too, because we have Apple's OS and we have Android, and to me this seems like Android beat Apple. That's what I'm taking away from this. Android beat Apple today when Apple came to Google and said, "We need help with your AI." That's what I'm taking away from this.
Hot take here, but some of us have known that for years. LOL, LOL. Okay, just obviously, I'm a big proponent of the Samsung phone. Where my Apple lovers at? Where are my Apple lovers at?
Oh, you want to rock the boat, do you? Okay.
Go ahead. Look, I don't want to. I thought I was going to. Straight up, I thought that's what was going to happen. So,
Life tube. There you guys go. Google, it does look like it wants to push a little bit higher here, but I don't know if it's going to have the volume at the moment. But it looks like it wants to get up into the 153, 154 area today.
Oh my God, Ryan hating on Apple. Boo him off the stage. Boo him off the stage. Get him out of here. Costco up towards the highs. Ticker cost. Good. You love to see that. Apple actually looking like this is trying to take the next leg up here on Apple. 177.54.
STI held VWAP.
Indeed, it did. That pull back to VWAP. STI's had some strength here today.
Mm-hmm. And we got to, let's see.
And this STI, this 325 spot that's here, I mean, you could still watch this. I know, they haven't had a whole lot of luck with the upside breaks here, but this curl in here, this actually looking like this might try to break out of this flag.
Yeah, MACD's curling on the 5-minute. This looks like it does want to go higher.
Jay saying, Ryan, Scheffler made $8.5 million in 8 days. Jay, I guess we're in the wrong career. Because that's pretty awesome. In a period just over a week to make $8 million, or $8.5 million playing golf. Damn, I did something wrong.
The BMW OpenAI robot. It's crazy how many companies are coming out with robots.
That I missed. What happened on that BMW OpenAI? That one I missed.
Tell us, Marcus.
Open Sniper. Here out of the halt, lower.
Those VPNs. Well, at least you can see us again, Wisdom. Welcome back.
Wisdom. Okay, so that's what it was. Okay. So real quickly, I also use a VPN. In fact, my VPN is on right now. It's not interrupting this. But what I will say is that the VPN does block some things, especially if you put it on your phone. Put your VPN on your phone, try logging into your betting app or your banking app, and they're like, no. LYT being mentioned by Smoked Tuna here. This was a former runner. This looks like a potential curl here on the daily. Nice little pop, low volume though. LYT, careful on this one.
Oh yeah, this one looks lit.
Yep, this one looks lit. Here we go. The casual jokes. We're just gonna roll them out here. Silky smooth casual jokes.
I'm sure that there's people like face palming and shaking their head at some of the things that I say, and that's fine.
Hey.
That's totally fine. I know how bad they can be.
Listen, if there's a smile on your face, we did something right. Wave D here, looking like this might be coming off the bottom of that level. I'm so glad we didn't trade this one.
Even Callum is on the same page with me. He's looking to get lit too.
See? Look, it goes
this community, man. This is the best.
I'll tell you. Look, we did something right here. We did something right here, assemblings, folks. Smash up the like for my man 13 coming back. Smash up the like for Matt Nally giving us his opinion on where we're going here and what the market looks like. And then, of course, be sure to smash up that like one last time while patting yourself on the back for being the best community out there. We'd love it.
Did you guys talk about this AI?
I'm reporting Ryan to Apple support. I have no idea how I'm going to recover from this, Kevin. It has been great to know you, though. Say again, 13. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just asking if you guys had looked at AIMD today.
No, we haven't. We have not. And this is also a former runner that we've traded. You can actually see on the daily chart here several pops and drops here on AIMD.
Yeah, this one looks like it's wanting to come back in, but I think maybe keep this on your radar for a move later today. It looks like it still wants to make some more price action to the upside, possibly. So keep it on your radar. I think it's going to be something to trade later.
My scanner's still kind of dry here. It's a lot of the same names. STI, still waiting on that 325 break on this one on STI. Did you want to go over this IMRX stuff? I think we ran out of time before you had to dip on IMRX.
Oh, about how it looked like they had some good phase 1 news, and it turned out they were just mentioning the safety of their drug, not so much the efficacy of it.
Yes. So here it was. This was from Thursday, March 14th. And again, shout out to you. This is why we always say kind of dig into some of this stuff. 13 has Benzinga Pro, which gave him all of the information. That's how he found the answer. Just saying. Immunoring announces positive top-line results from its phase 1 portion of its phase 1/2A clinical trial. That's what the headline is. Now, when you dig in, you're saying that what the actual this was about its safety, not necessarily the results from the trial.
Right.
That does seem misleading.
It met the safety endpoints. It didn't meet the efficacy endpoints. And I'm trying to find the exact filing that showed me that, so I can have you bring it up.
Here, I found a quote in here. You tell me if this is the same one or if you're still looking for one.
Okay.
Preliminary top-line data from the phase 1 portion of this trial provided encouraging initial tumor activity and a well-tolerated safety profile in a refractory patient population.
Yeah. So the 100%. Yeah. Okay. So at 7 a.m. on Thursday, March 14th, that has the filing where I found that.
Yep.
And it says that as of February 20, 2024, 100% of evaluable patients profiled by ctDNA and treated with IMM 1-104 experienced no new acquired alterations in RAS. So it goes on to say that there's initial signs of clinical activity in phase 1, which while the clinical activity was not an endpoint of the phase 1 portion of the trial, immune engineering believes that the data generated as of the cutoff date of February 20th show promising signs for the drug's potential clinical activity. So they're mostly just talking about that it's safe to use and that they could continue to with their trial, trying to find the efficacy of it. But they only say down here that 51% of patients had less or equal to 1 targeted lesion regress when treated. So they don't have complete clinical trial data. They just know that this is safe to continue testing with. That's really all this is saying. So I think that was a really big misleading headline. And that's the reason why we got that sell-off the day that this was announced.
And don't forget, before we got that sell-off, this actually popped. So I think you're exactly right, 13, because I think what they did was they looked at the headline. They said, this sounds really good. It was a little bit misleading. And then as you started to dig into that PR, the stock actually traded lower. If you look at the intraday chart, you can see how fast that actually happened, which is why being able to kind of skim through and finding the important information from these PRs is paramount here. IMR did bounce a little bit back here today, but still down considerably from that fall off.
And to Kevin's point,
Sorry.
Phase one isn't a big deal. It's just the first of usually three. And the second phase is usually gets a lot of movement too. Phase one will still get market activity depending on what those results show. And this is just safety. So phase one will still move a stock, but I agree, it's not a big deal. You want to see phase two results, especially phase three.
Yeah.
Phase three is pretty much the finish line.
Yeah, exactly. Really good call. Really good breakdown of that news there. Carmen, I hope that was valuable. I know you asked last week. We didn't have the answer for you right on the spot. A little bit of research. We were able to uncover that. Let me know if that was helpful. Yep. Nice job, Lynn and Randy, on Tesla. Looks like, okay. So Tesla's still up here looking for a leg down. Looks like you got stopped out. Looking for a leg down. I don't know. Help correct me. I'm confused. You said out Tesla with 4. So did you play alongside there? I thought you were waiting for a short. Correct me if I'm wrong here. By the way, STI did take out that 325 and some more size there at 335. 345 is your day high. They're taking the size there. STI looks like this is going to try and go higher here.
Yeah, should take out that pre-market high of 351. Sydney, I didn't have a green moss beard, but I did wear a green shirt. Very, very bright green. It said I was lucky. And I had all green yesterday. Green Lululemon pants, green high-tech pullover. It was awesome. Love St. Patrick's Day. Love being able to put on green and having people not question you. There it goes. Broke through that.
STI is going here. We're going to the highs. 360. Congrats on STI. Any of you that had this, be sure to book your gains on this puppy. STI going higher here. Got a little bit of size here at 367, but that block of size is nothing compared to some of the blocks we've already chewed through today. And
as Smoke Tuna just also mentioned, lit is going pretty high. There's a couple jokes in there. I'm sure Wisdom will get them. But anyway,
you can get really lit, be super high. Wisdom's probably both. Let's go.
And we're not even talking about the cannabis stocks. LYT looks like 605 is the next level that I have in that. Maybe 6. Somewhere between 6 and 605 is probably where we're going to end up getting to the high before we see some pullback. Could go higher. Not sure if that's going to be the case, but 6 to 605 is where I have the next supply zone that we could see some resistance in this stock.
Kevin saying STI, the only STI I know of is a Subaru. It's funny because every time someone mentions the ticker, I think the same thing. One of my good friends actually has a modded Subaru STI. So yeah. I feel you on that one. That's
the first thing that came to mind when I saw STI. I was like, ooh, a WRX. And Wisdom, I looked like Gumby yesterday. Hey, if Gumby had a beard, you got to show me that picture. I don't ever remember him having a beard. When I was a kid, I had the Gumby and Pokey. Remember his horse Pokey? I had the action figures.
Me too.
That was one of the shows back in the day.
Oh yeah. G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe. Oh man. Now we're getting nostalgic vibes here on a Monday. This is trouble.
Oh dude, I know. I mean, we're not gonna sing here, but I know all the theme songs to all the Saturday morning cartoons.
Mighty Max, DuckTales. Oh man.
You ever heard of Silverhawks?
No.
Oh man. Anyway, that's a premium if you guys want to see us sing. AISP looks like that one wants to try to take out the consolidation that we had up here this morning. It's traded right up to there, got rejected, holding VWAP at the moment. We'll see if the volume expands and takes us up over 12.15.
Dip buyers brought us right back to the flag area that we were in earlier. Look at this. Took my 100%
nice
and closed STI. Becca with some 100% gains here this morning. You get a cash register ring and a one up for that. Good trade in Bex. Great to see you closing 100% gains out here like a boss. Carmen saying, oh yeah, Ryan, that's the one I brought up on happy hour. Exactly, Carmen. We did a little bit more digging there. Let me know if that was helpful for you. Jay, of course, telling me green Lulu pants. Save those for Halloween. You can dress up like Kermit the Frog. You have a vivid imagination, Jay. The other thing is that I will say as far as Lululemon goes, their colors, and I mean like colors, like not like traditional colors like gray, black, and khaki or blue, but their colors are actually very, very muted. They don't look like Kermit the Frog. They don't look neon and all of that. They actually pair quite well with browns and other earth tones. But I can appreciate the joke. I can appreciate the joke, and you holding my feet to the fire. It wouldn't be the same without you.
We got Disney that's looking like it's got a floating island.
Hey, that's not a bad Kermit the Frog impression right there. My favorite one is Pablo Francisco's Kermit the Frog doing Scarface. That might be the best thing I've ever seen. Okay. This is Piggy. Hello, Piggy. Hello.
If you ever seen Seth MacFarlane do Kermit the Frog as Liam Neeson from Taken, that was pretty hilarious.
You know what? That might be something to look up later today, 13. That because particular set of skills to look that one up. Let's go.
Yeah. That was a funny one. Oh wow. Okay, so lit. Hit that target.
Oh my God, this thing's going vertical here, lit.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla finally pulling off the 172 area. So Lynn and Randy, I know, thank you for cleaning that up earlier. You actually traded this to the long side, made 4 points on Tesla here today. Nice little move there. Tesla, I'm sorry. Just literally as we were talking there, Tesla new highs here. Wow. Big move on Tesla. IMRX 13. What are you seeing here? This looks like this is rolling over.
I was going to mention that Carmen was mentioning IMRX. Looks like it's paying off. So I was just about to mention that. I'm not sure what the paying off part is. It looks like it's finding support at the moment. So if it holds this level, we can see it turn around here. But I'd want to continue to see it hold, between let's say it holds 245. If it can hold 245, we could potentially see it turn around and go back up to VWAP. So that's the best case scenario I have for IMRX at the moment.
GOEV here popping right to the VWAP. Watch GOEV here, potential trade, one of these smaller names here. Jay, I love where your head is at here today. Way to go back on STI. You can pay for the NCAA B-ball courtside seats in Glendale. By the way, so that is going to be in Glendale, Arizona, or some of those games. If anyone goes to any tournament games, I want to see all your pictures. I want to live vicariously through you. Would love to see those pictures. Awesome stuff there. Jay, I love where your head's at this morning. How would you do on the island green, Jay? How would you think you'd play that? I don't even think I'd hit the damn island, frankly. But that's neither here nor there. By the way, we were discussing earlier how the scanner really dried up. It has remained dry. I don't have a whole lot on here. ZVSA, the one notable mention, this kind of came back and flagged. It looks like it's breaking out of the flag here. Wave D is also on the scanner, but that might be a setup. Smoke Tuna, I know you called this earlier as a setup, hasn't moved yet. Smoke Tuna, you're also mentioning APM here. This really needs volume to get going here. I don't have a lot on the scanner, folks. It definitely dried up here. The moves today were the bigger names. And let me tell you something. I know I played Tesla incorrectly, but Google, this thing worked out. Not a whole lot of movement here. The trade still worked, though.
Yep, all the Mag 7s are up and up quite handily. I think only Microsoft is up less than 1%, but everything else, wow.
Peak mentioning 240 here seems to be the line in the sand for IMRX. I would agree with that spot. I think that's a good call here. CXAI getting mentioned by Smoke Tuna here. This setting up. This really needs some volume to pop it here. Jay saying, Ryan, I've played TPC Sawgrass several times. Wow, I actually read that is the second most expensive public course in the United States. 17, not that hard with no wind. With wind, it's a bitch. It's a wedge or a 9-iron. So the golf round that I played for my birthday, the craziest wind I've ever played in. I mean, it was like 58 here in Chicago. It was windy. The wind was whipping around and changing directions. Oh, that was tough, but man, was it fun.
Somebody mentioned okay, no, that wasn't it. I was looking to see if somebody had mentioned ARM previously. I don't think they did, unless I'm blind. But really ARM had a big pop.
Sorry, no, go. I thought you were done. Go ahead and finish on ARM. That's way more important.
I am done.
I mistimed that there. I'm sorry, 13. But I do want to shout this out here. One of the things that you'll see us talk about a lot of the times, that you'll hear me saying, if you had this, sell into this move, or make sure the trade doesn't go red on you, or sell into strength, not into weakness. Look at STI. Remember, we just gave Becca her dues for trading STI 100%. Becca actually swung this from last week. The key that I want to point out here is when we had this impulse move trading up, you closed your trade on the impulse move. 9 times out of 10, and I just pulled that number out of thin air, but more often than not, when you sell into this move, a lot of the times, especially intraday, you're going to get one of those pullbacks. You sold near the high by selling into the strength. This stock weakening now, if this continues to weaken, that sell order is going to look mint. Don't ever be afraid to sell into strength when you have a winner, especially in equity at 100%. Just an awesome job here this morning.
It's just kind of taking a look at Root. It looks like it has a pretty nice, bull flag setup. It's just, slow moving, pretty good spread. Traded
Which
if you
ticker?
want.
Sorry? Root. Oh, yeah.
This looks like it has a nice setup. So if you want to trade it, there's something that could be there for you. Just very slow moving, not a lot of volume right at the moment.
It does look like it's going higher, 13 to that point here. Pixie, PIXY here. Smoke Tuna mentioning that this is setting up here. It's really kind of flagging here. Let's see if we make a move back towards that VWAP. On Pixie, looks like ZVSA. That was that penny stock flirting with the dollar. Still doing that. Oh my God, I see snowflakes outside here. I see snow. I golfed on Saturday and I see snow coming down today. You got to be kidding me with the Chicago weather. It is something else.
Talk about threading the needle.
I mean, look, like I said, I had a great birthday partly because I got lucky, and that's okay. I will take that. I got lucky with the golf date. Oh man, I got lucky with the food.
Powers that be are like, is
down,
Ryan's birthday over? It is? Okay.
Down,
all right.
Down.
Bring the snow.
That's like the final birthday present. I like snow so much. By the way, Tesla, we talked about Tesla stopping TSLA. We talked about Tesla really kind of getting heavy. Actually, it looks like it's trying to curl back up here on a 1-minute chart. We'll see if Tesla has the strength to go higher here.
Looks like Lit wants to get back over that 605 level and go higher. We didn't get a close above that, so that supply area was resistance. Now it's trying to take it on again. If we get volume expansion, the next level I have is 660.
Okay.
And what else are we looking at?
The birth. This is right. 13. Birthday is the last week before and after the birthday. See, it's a season. It's birthday SZN, as the kids would say. It's birthday season.
Yeah,
GCT?
I have all kinds of family members that love to stretch that out.
Yo, I bet you do. I bet this is not news for 13 here.
TPHS. This is a under $1 penny stock that, if you want to trade, go for it. But it's getting some movement again.
TPHS.
Going right back up to VWAP. And it looks like
Wave D.
Oh yeah, it looks like Airship might the AISP. It looks like this one is also kind of providing a decent setup. Just needs to move up and away from VWAP here, but it's got a decent setup. I think this could end up going, if we can get some volume to help trade through the consolidation that we made this morning out of the gate.
Done a really good job holding its VWAP here too. Did a good job holding it earlier. I know it broke down, but it reclaimed it quite quickly, and now it's doing a good job hanging on to that.
AKBA is moving on volume. There might be a pull here. It's pretty extended. Right.
Just needed to add an R. We got Akbar in here screaming about traps. I flashed it there on the screen real quick. Wave D. This was trying to curl out of this consolidation area. Smoke Tuna, I know that you mentioned this one earlier here. 375 looks to be the spot it needs to break to the upside here.
Weight Watchers. This is also slow moving, but it's got some pretty good moves here over the past 5-10 minutes.
You get an upside move, and you get an upside move, and you get an upside move. No, we'll see if Weight Watchers continues to get it here.
You get a GLP-1. You get a GLP-1. That should be her new phrase.
LAC breakdown from last week here. Lithium of America. Looks like this is kind of a sell-off.
Yeah, a bunch of these old ones from yesterday or from last week. Still going.
Here.
Okay. Well, I think this is about the time where I would want to just kind of wait for the market to cool off a bit as we enter or start to head into the lunch hour. That's, of course, not going to be for another 60 minutes, but this is where things start to slow down a lot and volume tends to dry up. I think we might get some good trades later on. Not quite sure yet which ones are going to be those good trades. Probably the ones that are pretty weak today.
Yeah, I would say save the watch list from earlier and see if we get any movement off those. With those actually having a range, should be fairly decent to trade, a little bit easier maybe. Jay mentioning here the GPS holding the gap well. I did buy some chinos there yesterday. Seeing some decent call. Jay, you saying maybe you're a catalyst for gap there? Catalyst for gap.
Yeah, beer 30 wisdom. There you go. Oh man, Wisdom has the greatest comments. I mean, hey, heavy volume. We'll call it Wisdom. Heavy volume.
Next time we make it out to Hawaii, we'll go to a local watering hole out there and share some laughs.
Yeah, but I was mentioning. I was just talking about from his earlier comments on Weight Watchers. A little mean, but I thought that was funny.
Okay, I missed it.
It's not too far up. It's unskinny that we use. We don't use fat. We use unskinny.
WLDS still flagging. How did IMRX do? That tried to pop the VWAP, but couldn't really get it done. SMR, maybe this breaks the top off here on SMR new scale.
Wondering if MDGL.
Look at RXRX. What did I miss? Let me see if I missed news on RXRX here. Recursion Pharmaceuticals. Let me see. What's the news on this one? Nothing new today. So RXRX here. This trading up, bought right back down to where we traded all day on Friday, and now we're coming up off that level here. Just crossed VWAP.
Yeah. Tesla looks like it wants to keep on going higher. How'd Google end up doing? Did you trade that at all?
No, I should have, because Google ended up where it took oops, I actually got the wrong ticker there. Took a little bit longer for the move to materialize. We did come back down to that 150 area and held it and bounced, but now we're just kind of holding the same area.
Okay.
All right, so folks, I know we got like 3 minutes left here. Man, I tell you what, this really flew by. At 13, I felt like you were gone for like 5 minutes, honestly. Like we talked with Matt Malley, and as soon as Matt was done, you came right back on. I mean, I feel like you were barely even gone. You were gone for long enough for somebody to ask where was 13, but really wasn't that long. All said and done.
Yeah. No, I was raising hell on the roads, so I'll be doing that. I'll be doing that all week, and I'll be back to normal on Monday, next Monday.
Okay. Stick around though. After our show here, again, still 3 minutes left here, but after our show, we're going to send you over to Trader Bacon. And the good news, you don't have to do anything. We will redirect you and do that automatically. So, okay, MSTR down on the Bitcoin move, 7% plus, Mara going green. So let's take a look here and see. We got a little divergence, it seems, in some of the Bitcoin names here. The one thing I will say about MSTR here that's encouraging, this is really not breaking down past Friday's VWAP move. Friday's intraday lows here at 1572. So another almost 100 points beneath where we're at here on MSTR. So maybe just kind of a regression back to the mean, really not breaking down. Let's take a look at Mara here. Mara much stronger. Mara, a little bit of a dip out of the open, but a VWAP reclaim. What I'd like to see on Mara is another push up, maybe taking out some of these highs from the previous day. That would be helpful on Mara.
Tesla with new highs.
I'll tell you what, man, this is when you're short and you're wrong, just get out of the way. This is textbook. It's okay to be wrong, not okay to stay wrong. Staying short on this move would have been trouble. LYT getting mentioned by Faloona.
Yep.
Continuing to, oh man, LY, for those of you that traded the smaller names here, LYT, your winner of the day.
Yeah, and oh well, I was just going to say it. The 660 because I said 660 was the next level. It just popped right up to that. Popped right up to 660. Now we're probably going to come back in, try to test the 6 handle for support. After 660, if we end up breaking that, the next level I have is 740.
So there you go on LYT. GOEV looking like this might try to pop here. Watch that 329, 330 here, 330 area here. GOEV. This is Canoe. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's a classic movie. Classic movie. Market kind of holding in here. So we had that impulse move, little bit of a pullback and kind of holding here. All right. It is 11 o'clock out there, folks. That is going to do it for us. Like I said, I'm going to send you over to Trader Bacon 13. Great Monday here. Really appreciate all of it. We're going to be back at this again tomorrow. Any closing words for the day?
No, everybody just have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care of your capital and hope you get some good trades. And I'll see you tomorrow.
We will both see you tomorrow. Stay green. Stay safe, everybody. Take care.